Welcome, everybody. These past 36 hours have been really horrific for our community. And our hearts really go out to the three families, their losses. The losses and the stress has been on our other family, the Roundy's family of over 800 employees. As we move forward, we want to work hard to try to make sure that these things don't happen ever again. And I hope not to be at a press conference like this in the future. That being said, I want to reach out and share with you the incredible efforts that have been done through the leadership of our police chief, James Pfister, our fire chief, Brad Bowen, everything that they have put together, all the reaction time, and all the additional agencies that were involved in this incident is really a testament to keeping our communities safe. They've done a spectacular job, and they're going to be sharing with you the details that you're requesting so you can understand what has happened and where we are going forward. Police officers, the fire fighters, the EMS folks, they all came together and did something that we as a city of Oconomowoc are really proud of. So with that, I'd like to introduce our police chief, James Pfister, to share more of those details and give you an update of this incident. Chief.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chief James Pfister, P-F-I-S-T-E-R. I'd like to start with on March 16th, 2021, at approximately 22:32 hours, officers were dispatched to the Roundy's Distribution Center for an initial report of an industrial accident with the patient being P&B. A second patient was later discovered a short time later, also P&B. Life support measures were initiated but unsuccessful. It was determined that both subjects had gunshot wounds and were deceased. Officers were able to develop suspect information and believe that the suspect left the premise. Vehicle information was developed and an attempt to locate was sent out to area agencies. A request was also made to check the suspect's home located in Wauwatosa. Mutual aid and a level 5 smart call was initiated, and the City of Oconomowoc Police Department was assisted by many area agencies, one of which the priority agency was Roundy's personal security and safety teams. Responding agencies assisted in scene security, evacuation, employee transportation, traffic control, investigation, and evidence collection. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Department and the Wisconsin Division of Criminal Investigation are assisting with the investigation. Roundy's personnel assisted with employee information, plant diagrams, and video surveillance. The two victims and the suspect have all worked at Roundy's for 20 years or more. The victims are, number one, from Milwaukee, 39 years of age, and had worked at Roundy's for 20 years. The second victim is from Germantown, 51 years of age, with 20 years of Roundy's experience. The suspect is deceased as a result of self-inflicted gunshot wound that occurred in Milwaukee. Currently, the medical examiner report is pending. The suspect was identified as Ferran Cornelius from Milwaukee, 41 years of age, 23 years with Roundy's. The investigation is currently active, involving multiple agencies. No motive for this incident is known at this time. The City of Oconomowoc Police is continuing to investigate this incident with the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, Waukesha County Medical Examiner, the Wisconsin Division of Criminal Investigation, Wisconsin State Crime Lab, Waukesha County District Attorney's Office, the Milwaukee Police Department, and Roundy's executive supervisory staff. The City of Oconomowoc Police extends its sincere condolences to the victims and the family members and Roundy's personnel, and is here to help with the healing process of our community. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce the Sheriff of Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, Eric Severson. Sheriff.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Severson. I'm the Waukesha County Sheriff. My name is spelled S-E-V-E-R-S-O-N. I'd like to start by offering the condolences from myself and my office to all of the families of those lives that were lost in the last 48 hours. I also wish to express our sympathies and condolences to the Roundy's team. It's a very important thing for us to do, to remember that when we have a major company in our community that has such a tragedy, that the impact is very far and very deep. And so to all of those individuals, my office extends our condolences. The Waukesha County Sheriff's role in this particular event was pretty large. The Oconomowoc Police Department requested our assistance shortly after midnight yesterday morning. We provided tactical resources to help secure the scene, Detective Bureau and evidence collection and identification personnel, canine, aviation units. We had probably in excess yesterday of 75 to 100 law enforcement officers from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department assisting the Oconomowoc Police Department. Right now, our major role is providing resources and working in cooperation with the Oconomowoc Police Department to determine motive. And I just want to talk a little bit about that. In these kinds of situations, we all want to know the answer to the question why. And it's important to the families, it's important to Roundy's employees, it's important to the community, it's important to us to try to find answers to why something like this happens. I think it's important for us to remember that no matter what answer we find, there's no good reason. And while we may be struggling to find that why, and we are certainly looking to find whatever we can to provide closure for families and friends, it's important to realize that we're not going to have a good, acceptable answer to justify what happened yesterday. So law enforcement is in a difficult situation where we want to answer the question why, but we also want to be sensitive to all of the family and the friends in the community, recognizing that there is no justification for what happened yesterday. But we will endeavor and we will look as hard as we can to try to find answers to many questions. As a result, and as many of you know, I'm not inclined to answer questions that might jeopardize the integrity of our investigation while it's ongoing. We have a lot of people to talk to. We have a lot of employees in the business. We have family members. We have lots of folks that we've identified as potential witnesses. And we certainly don't want to release information in advance of interviews that we're going to have that may jeopardize the quality of our investigation, because we do want to get some answers as to the why. So again, our condolences to all the family and friends of all the people that were impacted by yesterday's events, and I thank you all for being here.
Next, I'd like to introduce James Hyland, H-Y-L-A-N-D, from Roundy's. Say a few words.
Thank you and good morning. Yesterday, we lost associates in a shooting incident at our Oconomowoc Distribution Center. We are deeply saddened by this tragic event. This tragedy is devastating to not only our Roundy's family, but to the community as well. Our thoughts and prayers go out to family members of the associates involved in this incident. We are providing counseling services, and our Roundy's and Kroger supply chain leaders will work to ensure our associates have the support they need now and in the weeks to come. Let me give you some background information on the distribution center. We opened the facility in 2005. We employ over 800 associates at the facility. The distribution center is a 1.2 million square foot facility, and these 800 associates are the backbone of our operations, moving a large amount of product in and out of the facility each day in order to keep Wisconsinites fed. The distribution center was closed yesterday as law enforcement continued their investigation. With the help of Kroger, we were able to utilize other assets within the Kroger enterprise to keep our 106 stores in Wisconsin and our 44 Mariano stores in Illinois in stock. The distribution center did reopen this morning. Law enforcement has identified the 3 individuals who were involved in this tragic incident, and as the sheriff said, due to the ongoing investigation, the following information is the only information I'll be able to provide. The 2 victims and suspect have all worked at Roundy's for 20 years or more. The victims are identified as Kevin Schneider, S-C-H-N-E-I-D-E-R, of Milwaukee, 39 years of age, and Kevin Kloth, K-L-O-T-H, of Germantown, 51 years of age. The investigation is currently active, involving multiple agencies. No motive for this incident is known at this time. We ask that you join us in respecting the family's privacy at this time. And in closing, I'd like to thank the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, the Oconomowoc Police Department, and all the other first responders for their prompt and thorough assistance. We continue to work closely with these various agencies throughout the remainder of the investigation. Thank you.
At this time, we'll take some questions. Again, please stand up, raise your hand, identify yourself, and then proper dignitary. Go ahead.
Alex, Enterprise, Waukesha Freeman. I was wondering the timeline that you guys will have unloaded, when we can expect tankers for the budget water the next few days.
So if I understand your question correctly, you're looking at when we might have? We have no set timeline. Currently, like we said, it's an ongoing investigation, and that may take quite a while to filter through all the information that we have. We have a lot of information. I can tell you that we brought over 144 employees from Roundy's back to our police department and interviewed each one of them already. So we have to go through all that information along with a lot of other information. So I can't give you a definite timeline.
Go ahead.
My question is for the chief. Chief, this is Brett Lemoyne with Fox 6. Based on the video surveillance at the plant, does this attack appear to be random? Were there any other injuries or people shot at?
I can answer that there were no other injuries. There was only the 2 victims that were there. I cannot disclose anything further of if this was intentional or random or anything at this time, but the suspect was clearly identified through the surveillance video. Nope, right over here.
Hi, sorry. My question is for James Highland. Could you say the victim's names again and ages?
Sure.
Thank you. And I'm Amelia Jones. I'm with Fox 6 as well.
The 2 victims were Kevin Schneider, S-C-H-N-E-I-D-E-R, of Milwaukee, 39 years of age, and Kevin Kloth, K-L-O-T-H, of Germantown, 51 years of age.
Can you say the last one one more time, please?
Kevin Kloth, K-L-O-T-H, of Germantown, 51 years of age.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you say where they were located in the building, how close they were to each other? Just trying to get to whether there were any other people that would have been passed by, that kind of thing, when this happened.
Currently, we're not disclosing the locations of where the 2 victims were. I can tell you that they were not next to each other at this point. So.
I know you all aren't really discussing motives or anything, but we're hearing some claims that could have been racially motivated or something along those lines. Can you say anything to that?
Right now, we're investigating all options that are out there, including everything that we find, but nothing at this time to disclose.
Any other questions? Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Evan Frank, General Sentinel. I guess I have a question for Mr. Hammond. Were there issues of workplace culture that might have been involved, or possible bullying or anything like that?
We're not going to speculate on that. Again, we want to protect the integrity of the ongoing investigation, and the gentlemen behind me who are doing a great job at doing that research and so forth and so on, I'm sure they'll come up with some conclusions over time, but we're not going to speculate on that right now. Thank you.
Time for a couple of questions. Anyone? Go ahead.
One more question, just about their connection. I know they were coworkers, but taking a all detail any other connections that they may have had, whether they were friends or outside of work or had any other relationships in work?
All that is being looked at currently, so I don't have all that information as of now. They work together is what we know. Any friendships outside of work, we're investigating all those options at this time.